So I've had a bunch of students ask if there is a nested if in scheme coding, and the answer is most definitely yes. But there's going to be two interesting items that we have to overcome. First is the overall syntax, and then physically it becomes the space within our code. So that's why you'll see me go over cond first, because it's a little bit more compact than maybe a nested if. But again, you might have an application where you have to do the nested if, so I'm going over it now. So think about it, is that inside of our if statement, we have first, inside of the parentheses, and by the way, notice that my parentheses are very different this time because I'm really trying to match things up so you understand what's going on. You don't have to do it that way, but honestly, when you're in the heat of battle and stuff like that, it might help. Let's put it that way. So our function or our operator is if, then our first parameter in that function is going to be the condition. The second parameter is what happens if the condition is true. And then the third one, now this is again really all one line here, but I'm putting it down one just so you can see there's a difference. This third parameter, which again could be straight in the line here, is your false statement. Now, you've seen that before, that's nothing crazy, but as we move into doing something a little bit more with the if-else, here's the interesting part. That true statement happens to stay there. That's again, if it's true, then we're done with the whole block. But if we want a nested if-else, we have to make that false statement, that false parameter here, now that becomes a new segment of an if and an else. Now remember, an if statement really is the condition, the if portion if it's true, if it's false, so it really is an if-else. So notice I've got to expand that false statement into our new if, and I don't want to call it recursive, but nested is the right word to use because it's literally nested inside of the false statement of the previous if statement. Phew! So notice I have this for grades in a course, and yes, I did use a define. I think it was 85. And notice my conditions, but there's a couple other things I want you to notice as well. And that's not just the syntax, but notice how I am trying to show you the parentheses in each one to show you the overall breakdown and make it as nice as block-like structure as possible to not confuse you. So this is why you may want to do the const first, which you could easily replace this portion with a cond, or if you have to use a nested if-else, you understand, well, number one, how to use it. Number two, some of the things you have to look out for.